Hello guys, and welcome to lesson 2 from my CorelDRAW masterclass. Today I'm going to be showing you my essential tools that I use a lot in CorelDRAW. I'm going to begin with this rectangle tool over here. Now if I select this drop down, you'll notice that we have both the rectangle and the 3-point rectangle. I'm going to select the rectangle because that's the one I use more often. Now if you select it and you come over here to your canvas, you can easily draw a rectangle. But if you want to draw a square, all you need to do is to hold down Ctrl and you can draw a perfect square. To add color to these tools, I'm going to select the pick tool over here. And now, if I want to add color to this square, I'm just going to come over to any of the color I prefer here and I'm going to select it to give it a color. Now to add color to the outline, you just need to right click a color that you prefer. I'm going to select maybe pink, right click, and we can see this pink color over here. But if you can't see it clear enough, all you need to do is to come over to this point over here and you can increase the thickness of the outline. If I take it further, you can see the thickness of this outline over here. So I'm just going to hit Ctrl Z to undo that. The next tool I would like to talk about is the pick tool over here. Now if I select this pick tool, I can select this square and move it how I like. I can select the rectangle and move it how I like. And if I tap on it once more, you will notice this anchors show over here. I can now turn it in a circular form, and if you hold down Ctrl while moving it, you can move it by 15 frames. So I'm going to set this back to straight. So the pen tool over here is basically used to pick things also. For example, I want to give this a color. I can come over here and pick the blue color or pick any color I prefer. And it's also used to select things. Now I have this rectangle selected. I can now select this square instead. It's also used to resize things. For example, if I select this rectangle and come over to the end node over here, I'm picking this. I can literally resize it to make it smaller. I can resize it to make it bigger. The next thing I would like to talk about is the shape tool. Now if we come over to this next tool over here and select it, this is the shape tool. Now if I select this shape tool over here, I can come over to this rectangle and begin to adjust the edges. So you can see that it was a perfect rectangle. Now we are having the shape turn, the angles are changing over here. So you use it to change the outside of the shapes, but it works better on curves. So if I hit Ctrl Z to undo that and I right click on this rectangle over here, I can convert it to curves. And now that it's converted to curves, I can now double click on it and it will automatically go into the shape tool. And now as you can see, I can now begin to change the shape as I like. So now if I select these add nodes over here, you'll see that some nodes have been added. And now if I come over here and drag from here, I'm changing what the shape looks like. And so these are things that you can do with your shape tool. So the next thing we need to go over to is the crop tool over here. So if you select your crop tool over here, you can come over to anything and highlight that portion. And what is going to happen is that if you double click, you're going to crop everything except that portion. So for example, if I have like a print screen, let me bring in an image that is a print screen. Okay, so this is a print screen. I'm just going to drag it here and release it. Now if I want to crop this, all I need to do is to have the crop tool over here selected. And let's say I want this portion here selected. I just highlight it and release it. And if I double tap on this portion here, you will notice that we've cropped out all those other portions over there. So that's basically how to use the crop tool. The next thing over here is the zoom tool over here. You can come over to a portion on your screen and say, for example, I want to zoom in closer to this side, and you'll notice that it has zoomed into that exact portion over there. I'm just going to hit Ctrl and minus to move my screen back to normal. Another important tool is the ellipse tool over here. Now if I come over here and hold it down, you will notice we have both the ellipse tool and the 3-point ellipse. I'm going to show you how to use the ellipse tool because that's a very important tool. If you come over here and drag and drop, you'll be creating an ellipse shape. To create a perfect circle, hold down Ctrl while you drag, and this will create a perfect circle. Another important tool here is the polygon tool over here. If you select it and hold it, you'll notice we have the polygon, the star, the spiral, the common shapes, the impact, and the graph paper. So let's select the polygon tool to begin. Now if you come over here and drag and drop, you'll notice that we have a perfect polygon. But what if you want to increase the angles of these polygons over here? So we have 5 angles here. You can come over here and select this drop down. You can come over here and reduce the angles over here. If you turn it to 4, it has turned to 4 angles. If you turn it to 3, it has turned to triangles. So that's an easy way to create a triangle over there. So you can increase it to get more angles, thereby changing the shape over here. So if we come back here to this polygon and select it, you can select the star tool. You can create a perfect star. You can also come over to this point over here to increase the number of the lines in the star. Let me just hit the pick tool over here and delete some of these shapes so we have more rooms to work with. Right, so if you select your star over here and you come over here, you can always increase the number of sides. So if I turn this to 5, you'll notice we have 5 sides. We can turn it to 6 and to 7. Just in case if you are not seeing this clearly, you can always come over to your color picker over here and right click to give it a color. And as always, you can come over here and increase the outline of that star over here. So let's go back here and select another shape. You can come over here to common shapes, which is very important. So for the common shape over here that is selected, you can come over here and draw a shape. And if you want to change it from that, you can come over here and select another common shape. For example, if you want to draw a heart shape, you want to draw love, you can come now and draw love. And if you come back here to this point and select it, you can look at some of the other shapes that are very common. For example, a magnet here, you don't need to create it from scratch. You can come over and change it from the magnet. Say you want to create a plus sign or a battery or an arrow. A lot of common shapes are found here. Or a flag. Easy to draw a flag. Alright, I'm going to select the picker tool once more and select these shapes and simply delete them so we can have room for more shapes. Another important tool over here is the text tool. So you can come over here and select a text. If you drag and drop a shape before you start typing your text, like I'm typing text over here, all your text will be limited to that shape and will not go outside that shape. But if you come outside the shape over here and you type a text, your text is going to be free to find the expression. Another important tool over here is the parallel dimension shape over here. So for example, if I come to the angle of this JPEG over here and I tap to create a node and I move this to the front part over here and connect it here to add a second node, I can now drag this down and release it. And what that will do is it gives us the dimension of this graphics over here. So if I select the pick tool over here and I deselect, we can see that this is 8.25. And if you want to change the dimension, for example, if you want to make it more visible, I will just come over here and maybe increase this to make this more visible. And you can see that this is 8.25 and this is way bolder. So basically that's what it does. It helps us to know the dimension we are working with in case if you want to send files or items to clients and something like that. So if you come over here and you select it once more, you can create both for the horizontal and the vertical dimension, and basically that's it. If we select this shadow tool over here, we can add shadows to items. For example, if I select my picker tool over here and select this, and I come over here and I select shadow to add shadow to this, all I need to do is to come over here to preset and scroll down and select if I want a small glow and select it. You can see a small glow has been added to it, and you can come over to the preset over here and scroll down and say you want a medium glow, and a medium glow has been added. You can also just play with what you have to see what we have over here. So we have the inner edge over here, and basically that's it on how to create this. You can also animate this to change the angles of the shadow that is being added over there. Another thing we have here is the transparent tool. For example, now if I deselect this and I come over to my rectangle tool to create another shape, and let's say I'm creating this other shape over here, and I come over here and I give it a different color, which is blue. If I want to make this transparent, basically I'm trying to reduce the opacity of this. All I need to do is to select this transparent tool over here, and I can now begin to apply the transparency to it. For example, if I come over to these options over here and I select this fountain transparency, you'll notice that we have transparency more towards the left than towards the right. And you can also adjust these angles to adjust the transparency. And you can change it to this other option over here. So basically there are different options over here. Just select the options you like and just change it to suit something you prefer. Another thing you can do also is the color eyedrop tool over here. So what does this do? So I'm just going to go back here and select my pick tool. Okay, let me select my rectangle tool over here and come over here and draw a new shape. And let's say I'm trying to give this a color, but I don't know the color to give to this. I'm just going to select the color eyedropper tool over here and come over here and select this yellow to steal this color and drop it here, and I've applied this same color to this other shape over here.